He's a huge family man, and the one thing that you have to understand about that is that while Raul has his own family, his wife and his children, that family probably includes a couple hundred others.
He has a very charitable heart, and you cannot tell Raul no, because once you say he can do something, he'll go and he'll find a way to do it.
If you're a fan of Winnie the Pooh, you never get Eeyore out of Raul. He is Tigger all the time. He is bouncing around happy.
He always says that he wants to be a stealth Mexican. He wants to do things stealthily, and he doesn't want to cause a big ruckus. He just wants to get things done and do things for people. And so I think it's great that maybe for this one time he can stop being stealthy and just be recognized for all the good that he's done.
I was born in Zapopan, which is on the outskirts of Guadalajara. I came along in 1965. My mother was 52 and my dad was 64. My parents couldn't have children, so it was kind of one of those deals that they always wanted children. And my mom would tell me a story of her going to see La Virgen de San Juan de los Lagos, which is a virgin in a beautiful basilica in San Juan de los Lagos, Jalisco. My mom would pray that she had a child. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. That prayer works. She would always go back and thank La Virgencita for my arrival. I mean, when I was a teenager, she probably had some second thoughts about thanking her, but I think for the most part, she was very grateful. My dad had already been in the United States for several years working. He decided that he wanted my mother and I to grow up in the United States. So we made the trek when I was very small and got here to Dallas when I was a toddler. As soon as I learned how to speak English, my mom wanted to take me to parochial school. My mom was provided tuition assistance even back then. Right about that time, my father passed away, so it's kind of a difficult time. I went to St. Mary of Carmel. I was there at 7th and 8th grade, and then I went to Bishop Lynch, so I'm a friar, and I was at Bishop Lynch through high school, so I kind of made my way through the parochial schools. My first jobs were walking a neighbor's dog, and she gave me 10 cents for every time I went around the block with them, so that was kind of a fun deal. I think I had about a dozen jobs before I got to 1st or 2nd grade. I was a paper boy. There was a gas station, and I would pump gas there and run the cash register for them. I worked at different restaurants until I got my first moped. Kirk Dooley was the gentleman that had the moped store. I think I got a graduate level education on entrepreneurship just working for him.
His, I think, pitch to Kirk was, hey, I'll do anything you want me to do. You know, if I could just earn some money, you tell me what I'll do, what you need me to do, and I'll do it. And so he had a very kind of, that same kind of can-do, attitude even as a kid.
My first big spend that I had is I bought my mom a TV. And I think I told Kirk that I wanted to buy a TV, and he took a little bit out of my check every week, and we saved up, and lo and behold, I got to come home with a really neat TV, so it was a neat deal. Wasn't much to watch back then. I think my mom probably spent it watching Lawrence Welk shows or something like that, but if you remember those. Yeah. Through Kirk's insistence, I mean, I wanted to go into business right away, and he was adamant that I needed to go to Texas Tech. I only lasted 2.5 years. I was so anxious to get back to work. When I came back, I worked as a waiter at the mansion on Turtle Creek, and one of the banquet waiters was my friend Gonzalo Munoz. So he made the god-awful mistake of having me over his house one Sunday. I saw this really good-looking young lady, and I decided to go and talk to her.
Oh, eso fue muy especial, porque muchas personas no creen en el amor a primera vista, pero me flechó. Me enamoré de él a la primera vista.
We dated for about 1.5 years and got married. Come September, it'll be 30 years. I have 4 beautiful kids. I have my oldest daughter, Mariela, is 24. And she is a student at NYU, and she's doing her master's there.
My dad was always there for us for school. He went to all my soccer games.
My next son is Raul Jr., and he is a senior at SMU.
It was always lighthearted, I guess. My dad likes to joke around a lot.
Then I have my clone, Alejandro. He's going to Mountain View, and he also works full-time with me.
I learned more from my dad than I do at school, so it's actually really cool. I'm gonna hopefully graduate with the degree in the Raul Estrada Construction School.
My little one is the ruler of the universe, you know, or at least at home, and her name is Jimena, and she is 12 years old and is a student at St. Monica's.
He is an extremely good dad. I love him a lot.
I got into the restaurant business and made friends with everybody. Those people turned out to be tradesmen. I had sheetrockers, I had concrete guys, I had brick masons, and they got to be my friends. As I was growing and I was building more and more restaurants and sports bars, they helped me build locations. They're kind of like the unsung heroes. I mean, they'll work a full 9-10 hours at their regular job and then come in and work another 4 or 5 hours with me until 9-10 o'clock in the evening. Not only are they my friends, but I have a lot of respect for them as workers. They're just class acts, and they're people that are really neat.
Raul began his charitable works in the Dallas community in the early 80s when he started building housing for his employees who were having trouble finding affordable housing.
With his employees, he's always making sure they're okay, they're looked out for, that they're you know, that they're not missing anything, that they're not in need of anything.
He's a really good person, really good boss, you know. He has a really good heart, so I cannot work with nobody else that doesn't have the heart that he has.
Y cada día aprendemos muchas cosas buenas, muchas cosas mejor y mejor, cómo hacerlo con el cliente.
Well, it's a good man and a funny boss.
My first job with Raul was with the Hispanic Youth Foundation. He's one of his first nonprofits. That was very timid. And he's like, yeah, you can do this. I grew a lot personal-wise just because he put me in a situation where I had to do it. And I will forever be grateful for that.
With regards to the projects for the diocese, it began with the gym and community center at St. Mary of Carmel.
During one of our building committee meetings, he walks in with a mutual friend and told us that he could fund the project, fundraise the project, and then construct it.
He's helped schools, he's renovated institutions, he's helped churches. He was a founding board member of Cristo Rey.
What I like about the Cristo Rey model is that how they empower children in the neighborhood. So I kind of look at it as to my kind of upbringing. You know, these kids, they get to work for their tuition, and the work-study program is, I think, what makes it special.
Raul was a critical part of helping us identify a site, helping us identify what the campus would look like. It's not a far stretch to say that this building would not exist if Raul Estrada and Mercer Construction had not been a part of making it happen.
When you think about how he has helped our community, helped Catholic Charities, he's always there ready to jump in and help us get the next job done. Our Central Services Center here at 1421 Mockingbird really came to be because Raul and his team were willing to help us make a project happen quickly, effectively, and efficiently.
It's not just he's built a lot of buildings, it's his ideas. Things like Pope in the Park.
Several years ago, when there was a papal event, Raul determined that he was going to have that telecast downtown in what's now Clyde Warren Park.
He got the AV equipment donated and he raised some money, and the Catholic Foundation was a sponsor. It was over 4,000 people.
He's continually trying to make life better for everybody he comes across. Every time he sees an opportunity to change something and make it better, whether it's be with bricks and mortar or just good works, he does it.
Be Golden is a movement that stresses that we should treat others the way we want to be treated. It follows the tenets of the Golden Rule. It's a campaign that for tolerance. It's a social movement to treat immigrants better.
For us not to recognize the wonderful benefits that the immigrants have given to us, and I mean the recent immigrants, mostly more from Mexico, but if we go back to the history of this country, I mean, we're all immigrants.
Raul's involvement in our board led to the foundation becoming, I feel, more diversified. Led to other board members who were more part of the fabric of the community and helped us be a little more representative of the people we were trying to serve.
I think at every turn, I've had people that just go out of their way to embrace me and to make me feel welcome. I remember going to some of my first meetings when I got to be on the board of the Catholic Foundation. I walked in with my Tommy Bahama shirt. And of course I'm thinking, this is how I should dress. But I get there and everybody's got suits on. Some of the guys, the first thing they did was they took their jackets off and they took their ties off and they sat next to me and just to make me feel more welcome. And so I would wish that with our Hispanic community, especially with the immigrant community, that we take that community, embrace them the same way, and I guarantee you the results will be well worth the effort.
The thing I like best of Raul is his work ethic.
He's always thinking of others.
Persona humilde.
Cuando anda alegre.
Por su inteligencia.
How giving he is.
The thing I like best about Papa is that he's always there for us no matter what.
He's the hardest working man I've ever seen.
He's always understanding.
My dad is very kind.
He loves everybody.
He's a real friend.
His kind heart.
Has a heart of gold.
Un corazón muy grande.
His sense of humor and his kindness.
He's genuine.
Genuineness.
The thing I like best about Raul is his great dedication to his family, his community, and his church.
The thing that I like best about Raul is he's my friend. Just plain and simple.
I have a real sense of what the award is and what it's supposed to be and what it is supposed to represent. And Raul represents everything that award's supposed to be.
Raul receiving this award, I think, really shows that our community really does value everyone and looks around the whole community for the best of the best each year. And Raul fits the bill.
He is a part of what makes this city run. There are a lot of people who think they make this city run by talking. Raul makes this city run because he does.
He knows what it's like growing up and needing help and having that help, and he wanted to be able to help others.
Even with all he's done, he doesn't think that it's been enough, and he always wants to do more for the community. And I really respect that, and I really admire that.
I was not really involved in the community the way I am now. Now I'm involved in a lot of things too, but it's because of him, it's because of Raul.
He deserves the award because he spent so many nights without sleeping, trying to think of ways that he could help them more.
Estoy muy orgullosa de ti, papá, de todo lo que has hecho por la comunidad y te quiero mucho.
He is a perfect example, if I may borrow a phrase from our Jesuit friends. He is certainly a man for others.
He's been successful in business, but I think much more importantly, he's figured out what success in life is all about. And that's about giving to other people and not being so concerned about yourself.
When I would come to these dinners, I'd hear stories of people that were successful businessmen and women, and these priests that had given their entire lives to serving. And I'd come out and think, I can do more. I need to do more. I think you walk out here thinking I can change the world. And I think if enough of us have that kind of attitude and feeling, we can really change the world.
On behalf of every guest here tonight, thank you, Raul.
Behind me are the former chairman of the foundation that served during Raul Estrada's time as trustee, Rob Hartman, Tom Merkel, Tom Codd, Vicki Latner, and John Landon. So congratulations, Raul. Way to go. You're at the end. What are you doing down there?
Is this?
No, we're on.
Not yet. Okay, sorry.
This is it?
Okay.
That's for you.
Thank you,
Ben.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Over.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry. One more picture. One more picture.
No more tequila for him. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. That's enough. Jeez, I am kind of blown away a little bit. I apologize. I'm not very good up here, so if I stumble through this, you guys don't throw any tomatoes at me. And when the dinner chair is in the produce business, that's always a real possibility. You know, okay, Bishop Burns, Bishop Kelly, Matt, Mark, distinguished guests, and fellow board members past and present, and to all my friends and family here today, I want to thank you for being here. Muchísimas gracias a todos mis amigos y familiares que nos acompañan esta noche. Estoy muy agradecido y me siento con mucha honra que hayan compartido esta noche conmigo. I want to thank Michael, Linda, Virginia, Ann, and the entire Catholic Foundation staff, and to our dinner committee chairs, Alfredo and Irma. Thank you. Alfredo is one of my closest friends, and he's a person I admire and respect very much. Jim Maroney and Victor Arias, thank you for your friendship and your guidance. And Barbara, Georgia, Charlotte, Sandy, Myra, and the rest of the committee, I want to thank you for your hard work. And I want to shout out to my friend Scott Moore, whose birthday it is today. You know, that's a pretty good friend. I mean, you know, this may call for an after-dinner birthday tequila shot. Okay. And I want to especially thank Cheryl Mansour. Cheryl is extraordinary. I mean, I walked in here today, and I was a little bit nervous, and I see this beautiful setup. I mean, I feel like I'm in Coco. You know, this is, you know, it is beautiful and wonderful. They had a mariachi with the string section, and, you know, Mr. Junior and Maria, you know, thank you so much. You did, this made it very beautiful. And, you know, the Javier who sang today for us and the mariachi that came in, you guys, I mean, I'm going to have one of those Sally Field moments. You guys really like me. I mean, you know, it's really neat. Cheryl has been my friend for many years, and you know she's just a special lady. Her stewarding the traditions of this foundation, I've always admired that. I feel that there's a connection with her, and she's offered me her most sincere and kind friendship, and I can't tell you how much I love you, Cheryl. Thank you. I want to thank Christina Bowman. That poor lady had to take about 1,000 pictures of me to get that picture, and probably a couple hundred hours of Photoshop, and it still didn't work. You know, it's you know, and Lauren Duggar at SunWest Media. I got to know Lauren when they were doing the video, and she's just an amazing lady. She's Cheryl's partner in crime, and she takes care of all the details and stuff of this video. And I got to know her and her 2 little boys, and she's just an amazing lady. Thank you, Lauren. And Catherine and David C. are miracle workers. They turned God's favorite fat Mexican into a halfway respectable guy in that video. So thank you so much for that video. And to everyone that participated in the video, I want to thank you, and I was very moved by all your kind comments. Padre Genaro, muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos esta noche. Se le quiere un chorro y 2 montones. ¿Dónde anda? Ya lo vi. And to my amigo Kirk Dooley, I want to thank you for your introduction, my friend. Your friendship and unconditional love for the past 40 years means a lot to me. I can't tell you, it's, Dual, it's by the grace of God that, hanging around you in my formative years with all your misfit friends, this could easily be the most likely to wind up in jail award, so. And I want to thank the staff that worked on this, the waiters, the valets, the musicians, and the hotel here tonight. Thank you, muchísimas gracias a todos. The food was excellent, the service, the music, they were exceptional. You guys know how to throw a party. Thank you. Okay, you guys have to humor me a little bit. There's very little chance that I'll ever get an Academy Award or anything like that, even though we Mexicans have been very well represented the last few years. So please indulge me a little bit. But I want to take this advantage to tell my kids how much I love them and how very, very proud I am of all of you guys. Mariela, Raul, Handel somewhere, but, and you, Jimmy. I love you very much, and all the things that I do is to make you proud of me and to try to set a good example for you. So I just want to tell you how much you mean to me. I also want to thank my beautiful wife, Melly. It's not easy for her. She has to stay up late listening to my endless chatter. Hey, wouldn't it be neat if we did this, and what if we did this, and we could do this one, and this wouldn't take that much time? And she always listens with patience and and is always there for me. She's very brave. She goes to a lot of these events with me, and she doesn't speak a lot of English. So it's hard for her and sometimes awkward, and people think that maybe she's antisocial or doesn't want to talk. And it's not that. They don't know her. She's just sometimes uncomfortable with the language. And she trudges through everything, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Ha sido un placer, una alegría y el privilegio de mi vida poder compartirla contigo. Y nomás quiero que sepas que te quiero dar las gracias por la paciencia, el apoyo y tu calma, y que te quiero mucho. Okay, I have to compose myself because I'm an emotional Mexican. but I'm a very blessed Mexican. My life is a very interesting paradox, truly a unique balance that a lot of the immigrant families and friends can understand and relate to. I love both my countries. I love Mexico for my culture, my music, my love of family, and my work ethic. And the United States of America, I love it because it's my adopted home, my country, the one who welcomed me, nurtured me, stoked my creativity, my entrepreneurship, and who taught me how to dream. This beautiful country that allowed me to flourish, grow my family, my business, I'm truly blessed to live here. This is a story which you have heard and seen tonight. I'm a product of our diocesan community and schools. The success and accomplishments that I have in my life are based on the generosity of a community willing to take a chance on a young and eager immigrant. We continue to see those great works in our community, as is evident by the success of Cristo Rey and the promise of new plans by our diocese to bolster and improve our parochial schools and make them affordable and accessible for all. I got to tour my old alma mater, Bishop Lynch, with my friend Wynn Bell not too long ago, and I was really amazed by the new campus. It truly is a unique place. One of the things that warms my heart during those visits to our diocesan schools is the rich cultural diversity I see in the hallways. I see that at Cristo Rey, I see that at Lynch, and I see that at a lot of schools across our city. I love that our students have embraced social movements like Be Golden. The celebration of our diversity and respect for all people becomes more relevant today because of the current misguided attacks on our immigrant community. The unity our schools try to instill sometimes is drowned out by the cruel noise we hear today. It's unfortunate that the calm that I was privileged to grow up with has lost her way. President George W. Bush once said, "Too often we judge groups by their worst example while judging ours by our best intentions." We must change the course of our current narrative and follow the examples of our diocesan schools and embrace and recognize the value of cultural diversity. I believe the truth about our immigrant story is very different than what is portrayed today. To me, it mirrors my life, where good people mentored me out of the kindness of their heart. People guided me for the sole reason that it was the right thing to do, and people worked with me with enthusiasm and zeal because they were treated with dignity and respect. A special group of friends helped and continue to help me with projects that are beneficial to our community. not because they have to, because they want to. When I've had the privilege of working on projects in our diocese, and I say privilege because I know that sometimes my involvement, it takes a leap of faith sometimes. It took the diocese getting out of their comfort zone to work with us sometimes. So I understand that I'm very privileged to be able to work on these events, on these projects. At these works, I've always relied on the same group of construction workers. All of them, like myself, are immigrants to this country. I would love to introduce you to a few of them so you can see the examples. They're just examples of the hundreds of people that help us on these jobs. This is my friend Carlos Gonzalez and his wife Sonia, and their two kids, Saraí and Sebastián. Carlos works with my friend Juan Pablo Esquivel, and they together help frame and sheetrock all of our projects. Carlos is a tireless worker and a genuinely good guy. He does most of the nonprofit jobs we've done. He and Juan Pablo Esquivel have helped us endlessly with those. This is my friend Cruz Rodriguez and his wife Chayo, and their 4 boys, Ricardo, Ángel, Diego, and Mateo. Cruz has helped me with the masonry work over 20 years now. His attention to detail is impressive. He started like as a laborer, just an assistant at his masonry company, and now he's one of their lead foremen. His attention to detail, his kindness, and his work ethic are equally impressive. This next one is my friend Salvador Chava Espino and his wife Lorena, and his children Uriel, Ángela, Diana, and Chavita. Chava's an electrician and one of the hardest working and nicest people I've ever met. My pitch to them is always the same. Please help me with this project. Help me get it done. It's very important that we participate and that our community knows that. Our Hispanic presence must be felt. We all have ways of explaining, how much our kids really mean to us. And when mine were little, I want to tell you a little story. They were already asleep by the time I'd get home. I used to work late, being in the restaurant business. And my wife would make sure they had their socks on when they went to sleep. When I would come home late at night, I would go into their room and pull up the covers and take their socks off. When they got up in the morning, they would know that their dad came home that night and saw him before he went to bed. They would see their bare feet and they would know their dad loved them. So I asked to have the pictures of my friends put up here so that you could meet them and so their kids could see them and see how important their dad's contributions are to the projects. And maybe through these pictures they could contribute sorry about that, I'm not really good at this. So through these pictures they could show their kids how much their dads really love them. We pay these workers well, but people don't work as long and hard as they do or with the enthusiasm that my friends help with for money. They do it because they're grateful to be here, grateful to contribute, and grateful to set an example for their children. We must continue to support our schools like Cristo Rey and all of our diocesan schools. These schools that you in this room support are perfect examples of the support I received from my Catholic education and the setting of my moral compass. I've had the pleasure of working and meeting extraordinary people on the boards of the nonprofits that I serve and some of the projects I've been involved with. People whose example I continue to follow to this day. People like my friend Win Bell, Brad and Barbara, Eileen and Jack, Lydia and Dan, Mike and Mary, Tom and Shelley. Okay, wait a minute. I got to stop. Because Cheryl said that if I went on and thanked too many people, she'd bring the mariachis back up and they would kick me out like they do the musicians on the Grammys. So all you people that I've served on the boards with, I'd like to mention all of you and tell a story about all of you, but know that I appreciate your mentoring and kindness that you showed me over the years. You guys are great role models for the community and countless others that have served our community. I wanted to thank the teachers, the clergy, and the lay volunteers, people at Catholic Charities, kind people, unassuming, who give tirelessly and work for our diocese and community. Those are examples that we should all follow. And lastly, I want to accept this recognition on behalf of all these people, especially our immigrant community. I want to accept it because these people are the ones that work in the background and are sometimes forgotten. So I want to thank you for remembering them at this time. I've gotten to know a lot of you in this room, and I know the influence you have within our community and beyond. It's going to take us getting a little bit out of our comfort zone to be able to continue having these good stories, so that the positive example that we've shown you today with my friends and that you've seen in some of these stories serves as an example of what our community really is like. Thank you very much. Was it not too long?
Congratulations. Thank you, Raul. We are humbled and honored to recognize you tonight. Before tonight's benediction, thank you for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you again next year, if not sooner, at our 38th Annual Catholic Foundation Award Dinner, which will take place on February 1st, 2020. Outside the room this evening in the reception area, we will have coffee, hot tea, and churros. On behalf of the Catholic Foundation, my team and I look forward to helping each of you realize your charitable giving goals. To conclude our time in this room, please help me welcome His Most Reverend Excellency Greg Kelly, Auxiliary Bishop of Dallas, to offer our benediction. Thank you, Bishop.
There should always be short prayers before churros. Felicidades, Raul. Muchísimas gracias por todo. Oremos. Te damos gracias, Señor, por estos alimentos que compartimos. Te damos gracias por su siervo Raúl, por su generosidad, por su fe, por todas las maneras en que él los sirve. Bendícele y bendice a su familia, a su esposa Mele, a sus hijos y a todos que están reunidos aquí. Te rogamos por quienes a través de sus esfuerzos los han hecho llegar hasta nuestra mesa, por quienes los han preparado y quienes los compartimos, y por quienes, aunque ausentes de nuestra mesa, nunca están ausentes de nuestros corazones. Que todos compartamos tu banquete celestial. We give you thanks, O Lord, for this food and drink which we share. We thank you for your servant Raul, for his generosity, his faith, for the many ways in which he serves you and serves your people. Bless him, bless his family, his wife and children, and all of us gathered here. We pray for those through whose efforts this food has reached our table, for those who have prepared it, and for those who, though absent from our table, are never absent from our hearts. And may we all come to share your heavenly banquet. La bendición de Dios Todopoderoso, Padre, Hijo y el Espíritu Santo desciende sobre todos ustedes y permanezcan para siempre. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Kelly. Remember to take your flowers, drive safely, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Good night and buenas noches.